Well, I want to welcome everybody to our Town Hall Tuesday. This is something we've been doing for quite a while now, and I believe this is a pretty good attendance for a program that has a title that's kind of ambiguous. So I appreciate you coming out tonight to learn how to better engage with the city staff and the city council and to help us to engage citizens. At this time, would like to introduce the City Council. If you will wave or stand, we have Mayor Stan Pickett, Councilmember Bruce Archer, Councilmember Dan Alleman, Councilmember Tandy Burrows, and Councilmember Robert Micklefs. And I didn't miss anybody. Good. So I know that Mr. Noche had some other things going on tonight. I'm not sure if he was going to be able to sneak in later tonight or not. But again, I want to welcome everyone. And tonight's topic was one that the city staff was really encouraged us to put on the list for Town Hall Tuesdays. We communicate with residents quite a bit and on a regular basis. And a lot of times it seems that we're having difficulty making those connections because there are dozens of ways to connect. So tonight we want to make sure we spend a little bit of time going over how to get information about what's going on in the community. We have lots of programs and events going on, and we send those out in a variety of ways, either through social media or email. But we want to make sure that you know you may be missing something. And then we'll also get into how to report problems because as an aging community, we have potholes and we have people with high grass and we have code issues. We want to make sure that you're getting those to the city staff as quickly as possible in order for us to resolve those as fast as we can, or at least explain to you what's going on. And then finally, the last part of our program tonight will be really how to engage citizens in a way to become more active. There are many opportunities from boards and commissions to volunteer opportunities that you as citizens can engage the city and become a part of the solution and become what we say is better citizens. So as always, we have a interactive portion to our program. Everybody ready for the first question? And this one is just a test. So, and I'm going to warn everybody, it sparks a lot of conversation and debate. We are here to talk about city services, not about this question tonight. So, will the Dallas Cowboys win the Super Bowl? If you want to say yes, you text or click A. B is no, and C is absolutely no way that they're gonna win. So, there's some.
A lot of optimists.
So, and I will remind you that you can keep changing your answers, and it will keep changing on the board. As soon as it stops moving on a regular basis, we'll move on. So, all right. Well, it's good to know that at least half of you are true Cowboy fans and are eternal optimists, as we always are at the beginning of the season.
There's one option up there that should be up there. Who cares?
Yeah. Well, yeah. You can answer no way or who cares, but we'll at our next town hall meeting we'll see where everybody stands. We'll bring this one back up, see if everybody's still optimistic. So they are the Cowboys. All right. Well, to get started tonight, I'm going to invite Wayne Larson, our Director of Communications, to share a little bit about our platforms of communication.
Good evening. My name is Wayne Larson. I'm the Director of Communications and Marketing for the City of Mesquite. Just a little background on myself. I've been with the city about 7.5 years, and real excited to be here to share with you the different ways that we communicate with our community and then get some feedback from all of you. To get started, I think it would be healthy to get some input on the ways that you prefer to get information about the city. So we're going to do a poll everywhere question, and we've got a variety of options there. So if you want to participate and see different ways, you can pick as many as you'd like, or just one, Lauren. Just one? I apologize, just one. Everyone participate? Oh. I think the winner is social media, it looks like. So we'll continue on. And thank you for your input. Probably the most established ways that we stay in contact with our citizens and communicate to them what's going on in the city with different services and programs is the city newsletter. And most cities and communities have a publication of some type. As probably most of you are aware, the mainstream, as it's called, is inserted into the utility bill. For those of our utility bill customers that get their bill electronically, there's a link on the bill that they can click on and get the mainstream. And it's also available on our website as well as an electronic publication. There's also some other departments that have publications, most notably the Fund Guide produced by Parks and Rec. And then our Arts Center puts out an annual publication that has information about all the different arts groups and events and programs they have to offer to the community. And as well, similar to the mainstream, these two are available online as well. Traditional media is still a big, important player in how we get our information out. And most of you probably get the Mesquite News in some form or fashion. If you don't get it delivered to your home, it's available online, and you can see the website there where you can click and get information about the city and our different services. Similar to the newspaper, we're on the radio. Most of you probably know that the school district has a radio station. We do a radio program where the mayor does a program and hosts the different guests, and it's available on our webpage. Social media is a big player. I know social media is important to all of you. Probably the biggest way is Facebook and Nextdoor, and we have other ways that we communicate with citizens as well. We have lots of apps. How many here, I'm curious, raise your hand, how many here use the app to pay their utility bill? A few of you. That's been a very popular way to pay the bill. Also, we have a trash and recycling app that allows citizens to get information about when their trash is picked up. And we have an app for the entire city that you can download and get a variety of ways to get informed about city services. Most of you have probably seen our videos on Facebook and Nextdoor. We have a variety of different news programs, one called the Mesquite Minute. We also do various ribbon cuttings and groundbreakings. And then Parks and Rec has a neat program called Real Texas Recreation. If you're a cable subscriber, those videos are also available on AT&T and Time Warner. I think it's called now Spectrum. I want to take a minute to talk about our website. If you go to our webpage, there's a section there called City Council, and it's pretty neat. There's lots of hot links and quick ways to get informed about the City Council. One of them is watch City Council meetings. If you click on that, you'll see to the right of the screen all the meetings pop up, and you can play any meeting that you like. And when you do that, the player pulls up, and you can watch the meeting in its entirety. But we also do something that's pretty cool that most cities don't do, and that's called timestamp. So if you don't want to watch the entire 1 hour, 2 hour meeting, you can click on a certain agenda item, and it'll take you right to that point in the meeting. Also, while you're watching the meeting, you don't have to leave the meeting that you're watching on the computer. You can click on the tab that's called Full Agenda, and it'll show you the entire agenda so you can see what's on the program for that evening. And for those of you that really are engaged in social media, you can click on the Share tab still while watching the meeting. And if you clicked on a certain item in the meeting, you can click the Share tab, and you can see that you can share that particular item of the meeting with friends and neighbors by emailing it to them or clicking on one of your favorite social media platforms. So it's pretty cool and pretty interactive and engaging. Another quick link that I wanted to show to you tonight is called City Council Agendas and Minutes. And this is pretty interesting, the fact that you click on this, it brings up all of the meeting agendas. And if you click on any of the dates and download the agenda, it's interactive. You'll see the blue tabs or the blue links in the agenda there. If you're really interested in a specific item and you really want to know more about it and do a really deep dive into what that agenda item is about, you can click on the blue link and it'll open up all the backup agendas if there's a PowerPoint or additional information about that particular item. Speaking of our website, it is a great way to stay informed. And I wanted to point out 2 areas on our website, on our web page, that are probably the easiest ways to get your information. The first is the search engine. Our staff does a really good job when they create a new web page or add new information about putting in what's called keywords. they'll take the time when they're creating a page to try to put in every conceivable word or phrase or acronym that they feel a citizen might use to search an item. So if you use the search engine and type in a word that you think is related to what you're looking for, it's probably going to pull up on the first page that comes up on the search results. The other area that I wanted to show to you this evening is the toolbar. There's a variety of icons there that instantly link you to important information about the city. One of them is the magnifying glass, and that's our transparency portal that we started a couple of years ago. From here, you can do a really deep dive into financial information, see what our budget's like, some of our vendors, or actually all of our vendors, and a lot of other detailed information about what the city is doing, how we operate, and really what it's called is transparency, being more transparent with our information. The other icon on that toolbar that I wanted to take a moment to share with you tonight is the Mesquite Messenger, and that's a new way that we're trying to push out for citizens to stay informed. There's a flyer on your chair, and it gives you a little bit more information about this communications tool. In my opinion, it's probably one of the most efficient and easiest ways that citizens can stay informed. Why? It's free, and you can subscribe to this service, and you will get an email and a text alert at least once a week about news and information about the city. And what's neat about this Mesquite Messenger is when you get that email, there's links in there to give you access to stories, the videos that I showed you earlier in the presentation, and other important information, including city council meetings and agendas. In addition to the regular weekly email and text alert that we send out, we also use the Mesquite Messenger for emergency information. So I know a lot of citizens are concerned when we do or when we have to announce the mosquito spraying. When those mosquito spraying alerts are issued, we use Mesquite Messenger to get the word out to citizens if they want to take precautions or just be prepared. So I encourage all of you to subscribe to the Mesquite Messenger. On the flyer there, it gives you details how you can subscribe by going to the web page that we've set up, or you can simply use the QR code at the bottom with your smartphone and sign up with that QR code. To electronic publications, earlier in the presentation we talked about printed publications and how we make those printed publications available by sending them directly to citizens or having them available at facilities and also making them available online. There's two publications that we do electronically. One is called the Council Connection, and that's embedded into that Mesquite Messenger service I mentioned just a moment ago. And the other one is one we started most recently this past year called the Road Report. We got a lot of calls and questions from citizens asking, well, there's so many projects going on. It'd be nice to know what's going on, what the status of the project is, what's the future plans for this road construction, when is it going to be done. So we started this road report, and it's been very successful, and it's been very receptive by residents. So the Road Report and the Council Connection are two electronic publications that you would get every week in your Mesquite Messenger notification. And the last item that I wanted to bring to your attention is a double-sided flyer that's on your chair. And this is something we started last year. It's called Stay Informed and Connected. And really it gives you every conceivable way that you can stay informed and connected with our city, either in print, online, or really anytime. And a lot of what was covered in this presentation is on the front side. And on the back side are a lot of the frequently called numbers and departments that citizens seek out. So I would encourage you to take this home with you and share it with your neighbors. If you would like additional copies or want to direct your neighbors and friends to this, they can simply go to our webpage, and we've set up a very special webpage for this important information at cityofmesquite.com/stay informed. And they can download it and print it themselves at their leisure or share it with friends and neighbors. So that is our presentation about ways to stay informed. I would welcome any questions or comments at this time about ways that maybe we could enhance what we do, or we're always looking for ways to improve. So, okay, well, oh, yes, sir.
Just on the communication.
Yes, sir. We'll have our next presenter will talk about submitting service requests, Ms. Lauren Rose. But if there are no other questions about communications, thank you for your time, and thank you for staying connected with us. We really appreciate the dialogue on all the different platforms.
Thanks, Wayne.
All right, good evening. My name is Lauren Rose. I'm the assistant to the city manager, and I get the fun topic tonight. I get to talk about how to submit service requests or complaints to the city. And that's really one of my primary responsibilities in the manager's office, is to handle the complaints that escalate to that level. And while I'm always happy to help and our staff is happy to help, we would love for you to use some of the resources available on the website or just at City Hall. So I want to spend some time making you aware of those this evening. But before we get started, I'd like to learn a little bit more about how y'all prefer to submit your service request. So if you could pull out your phones. So how do you prefer to submit service requests to the City of Mesquite? All right, we got some movement. All right. Okay, so it looks like most of you do use the city's website. That's great. We have a lot of resources on that website, as Wayne mentioned in his presentation, but we're going to dive a little bit deeper into that. I'm sorry?
No D?
No D.
There's a lot of that happening.
Yeah.
All those people aren't here.
Self-selection. There you go.
There's some fib tellers in there.
They're home posting on Facebook. Right.
We call that self-selection bias. All right. So why is reporting issues important? This might seem like a little bit of a no-brainer, especially to this crowd, since it sounds like y'all are already reporting issues on the website. But we do get this question from time to time. People say, you know what, it's the city's job, I shouldn't have to report it. And it is our job, and we are out there. We've got solid waste crews, police officers, firefighters, code inspectors out in our community every day, working in neighborhoods and checking on issues. But Mesquite is 44 square miles, and we've got over 40,000 single-family residences. That's a lot of ground to cover. And while we do our best, sometimes we miss things, or sometimes issues crop up after the fact. And if you guys let us know, hey, this is going on, we want to bring it to your attention, that helps us be more responsive and more efficient in improving the neighborhood. So it is important to contact us. This is a list of some of the more frequent requests that we get. I'm sure many of you are familiar with these. Nothing special here, but we do field a lot of these requests from time to time. So I like to call these options the traditional ways of reporting issues to the city, because these have been around for a while. You can always call the city's main number, and our operator will route your call. If you don't know which department you want to speak to, just let her know, and she can send you to the right person. You're always welcome to come visit us in person. We get fewer and fewer of those these days, but occasionally someone will drop in. And you can always email us. A lot of us are tied to our cell phone, so it's a surefire way to get in touch with one of us. And a lot of our emails are on the city's website. So how do I report a service request using the city's website? So this is the interactive portion of the evening, and we're going to drill down into some of these. But you can see from this list, our website has a lot of tools for you to use. You can do everything from report a code violation to report a problem to animal services to identify a downed street sign. So we come over here to this How Do I and go to the report list. I'm going to pick the ever-popular code violation. We never have those, right? So this is, just so you know, this is a quick glimpse of our code brochure, which each of you received on your chair when you came in. But to submit an online code request, all you do is select the district. All of our code inspectors are broken up into districts. So you select the district, you click here, and you enter in all the pertinent details that you want that code officer to know when they're evaluating your complaint. So after you complete the submission, it'll provide you with a confirmation number so you can follow up on that request. All right. Second most popular, street problems. As Cliff mentioned, we are an aging community and we have potholes, and they pop up from time to time. So you can use this form to enter in all the details about your request and let us know exactly what it is that's going on. And once again, you will also get a confirmation number letting you know how you can check back in on it. And the last thing I want to bring to your attention are solid waste problems. Every once in a while, as great as our staff are, we have missed trash pickups, or there's some confusion about what's supposed to be in the trash or what's just sitting out at the curb. So if you have an instance where your trash is missed, or you have a large item that you need to be collected, you can go ahead and complete this form, and it'll route it directly to staff. So that's a great tool for y'all to use. So let's talk about the advantages of reporting online. I'm a millennial, so I get blamed a lot for wanting to use technology, but we really do have some pretty robust systems in place. Like I mentioned earlier, our online systems, they're really designed to be routed directly to our staff. So there is no middleman. It goes directly to the solid waste crew if it's a solid waste complaint. It goes directly to a street crew if it's a street complaint, and so on. So it's pretty efficient. And then, like I mentioned earlier, you get that confirmation number so you can check in. And if you're like me, you like to follow up on things, so this kind of meets that need. In addition to the confirmation number, the city has a brand new tool for y'all to use called the Citizens Access Portal. And this allows you, among many other things, to check in on the status of a code complaint. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to check and see how 1515 is holding up these days. Oh no, we have a code violation. I'm just kidding, we don't. This is fake. We would be in trouble if we did. But here you can see all the details about this code case. You can see what's going on, who's in charge, its status, when it was open, when it will be closed. In some of our more complicated code issues, you can see if it's been escalated and if the city's contractor has been involved. You can even see which contractor it is. So this really allows you to drill down and to find out more information about the request. So in addition to those common requests we also get some other issues brought to our attention that are beyond the city's purview. We're happy to assist with these. They're not our direct responsibility, so we can't ensure that they will get completed. These entities do a great job. Encore, I don't know if y'all know this, but all the streetlights in the city of Mesquite are operated and maintained by Encore. And if a street light is out, you can use they have a great online reporting tool. Precise location, that'd be great. So you can see when you use this tool, it brings up all of the street lights in the area. And it classifies them by type. This is a street light. It gives you the approximate location. And then once you select that, you can pick the exact problem with that street light, add a little bit more detail for Encore, and then they will also provide you with a follow-up number. So that's a great tool, and they have something similar for power outages. TxDOT maintains all the state highways in the city, so if you have an issue with one of those roadways, we ask that you go ahead and contact TxDOT directly. They have a great online form as well. And lastly, from time to time, we will get post office complaints, either mail delivery or conditions at the post office. And because they are an entity of the federal government, we're limited in our ability to make them address those issues. So we recommend that you contact a supervisor at the post office directly to try and address some of those concerns. If none of those met your needs and you couldn't find the answer to your question, you can always visit our general comment page, cityofmesquite.com/contact us, and there you can post a comment and a city staffer will provide you with a response or direct your inquiry accordingly. And if none of that works, you're always welcome to contact me. I take complaints every day, so I haven't been here very long, but I've seen quite a bit since I have been here, so definitely like to try it out. And just a quick plug for our mobile app. All these services that we discussed today are available on the city's mobile app. So with that, I'd be happy to take any questions. I will say if you have a specific complaint about an issue in your neighborhood, feel free to grab me after the meeting. I'd love to talk to you about that offline, but let's leave all of this for general questions. Okay.
Is it best to call or use the report on there? Because I have a major problem with the street street, an intersection
Mhm.
by my house, and I called the street, and I got a blase answer from them.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry to hear that you had that experience. Why don't you and I get together after the meeting and we'll talk about that specific
Well,
issue?
my councilman's going to take care of it.
Okay. All right. He's on it. All right.
I just wondered, when you put it on there, do you get immediate response?
You do. You receive a confirmation number, which
And
is
does somebody are they the only ones that answer, or is there someone that comes after them and checks on that?
sure. So it gets routed to, in that case, it would get routed to a couple of folks in Public Works. So there's a couple of checks in place. And actually, with the Public Works request, that's tied into a system called our Tyler Incident Management System, which creates a whole work order and routes it directly to the line level staff affiliated with it. So it auto-generates their list of things to do for that day. So I would recommend using the online tool, but we'll talk later about the customer service issue you had. So, yes, sir.
What services or issue does TxDOT cover versus the city?
Okay. The State Highway 352 that runs through town, TxDOT is responsible for a majority of maintenance on that roadway. And I hate to bring this up, but anytime there is a deceased animal on a roadway, U.S. Highway 80 is a good example. A lot of times people call the city and, we will pick it up, but it's actually a TxDOT responsibility to take care of that.
So what issue still does TxDOT do versus the city?
Well, roadway maintenance. The roadway maintenance on state highways. Right. We handle all the residential streets. Anyone else? You must have a lot of complaints for later. Well, thank you for your time. I've enjoyed the opportunity to get to talk to y'all. And you have my contact information, so don't hesitate to reach out if you need anything. And with that, I'll introduce Jeff Jones for the next portion of the evening. Jeff is our newly appointed deputy city manager. So he's here to talk to you about how to get involved.
Thank you, Lauren. So I have a quick prize, a quick question, and a little prize to give away. So we'll check your knowledge of history here real quick. November 19th, 1863, in a town in Pennsylvania that I won't name, at the Soldiers' National Cemetery, President Abraham Lincoln gave his most famous 2-minute speech. Please raise the first person to raise their hand and tell me the name of that speech. I believe it was right here. Yes, ma'am. All right. There you go. We have a winner. Yes, it was the Gettysburg Address, and I think that one of the things that sticks out to me about the Gettysburg Address is the President Abraham Lincoln expressed his hope for our nation, and to quote, his hope is, quote, that this nation shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, and for the people shall not perish from this earth. I think that really kind of gets back to what our city manager, Cliff Kahili, said at the beginning in his introductory comments, that it's really about citizen participation and citizen engagement. This is your community. So I want to spend a few minutes talking to you about some ways that you can get involved. But first, let's start with a poll everywhere question. So take out your smartphones. Have you ever volunteered for a city board or commission, a department, or a city event? So far, everyone has. Congratulations. Yes. Preaching to the choir tonight. It's okay if you haven't. There's no judgment. give you a couple minutes.
And no names.
No names.
That's your party.
All right, I think that's a pretty good mix. So about 2/3 have, and there's a third out there that may want to hear this message. So, the National Research Center conducted a study just recently that said citizen participation in American government is at an all-time low. 1 in every 4 people have attended a public community meeting such as tonight or maybe a city council meeting. But only 1 in 5 people have actually reached out to their local elected officials within the last 12 months. Now, we obviously have some local elected officials here. They could probably confirm or deny that, but I imagine they do get phone calls 24/7. Is that correct? Emails, Facebook posts, you name it. And we can speculate as to why citizen participation is at an all-time low. People are busy, working more than ever. Family keeps them busy, after work obligations. Maybe they're happy with the direction of their community. That's a real possibility. Or quite frankly, maybe they just don't know what's out there. So if you'll allow me just a few more minutes, I want to share 5 ways that you can get involved in your community. So the first one is serving on a board and commission. Now, you may not know this, but we have 27 board and commissions in the city of Mesquite. That's 162 positions. These are on the screen are just a few opportunities to volunteer or participate in a board and commission. The top one, the Animal Services Advisory Board, has 5 members. Each board and commission is advisory in nature. They're appointed by the mayor and city council. You'll see that on the screen to your right, way down at the bottom. The city council appoints the health officer, the independent auditor, the judge, the city manager, the attorney, the city secretary, and board and commission appointments. So there are 162 positions out there. Again, they're advisory in nature, and they range anywhere from animal services to veterans affairs. So that's one way to get involved. Another way to get involved is volunteering or participating in a city department. Now you see here, this is the Animal Services Department. Of course, who doesn't love kittens and puppies, right? It's not all about kittens and puppies, but certainly that's the fun part. So there's always a need in our Animal Services Department. And we have a link on our website here under Community Volunteerism. And if you go click on that, you can fill out this information here. This is called the volunteermatch.org. And it asks, what are your interests in Mesquite? And you can go ahead and fill that form out. Let me scroll down here just a little bit. You can fill that form out, and that'll log you in, and then we'll have a record of your interest, and so we can try to pair you up with that if you want to volunteer for a different city department. And then, of course, we have city events. That's the third way you can get involved. We have special events like Christmas in the Park. I imagine many of you attended Summer Sizzle this past June with the fireworks and the bands and all the activities. I believe there was mud volleyball. I'm not going to point anyone out, but I think some of you all participated in that. I do recognize you. And then we have neighborhood and community programs. I'll point out Addressing Mesquite Day. This is going to be our 13th annual Addressing Mesquite Day. That'll be Saturday, October the 7th, if you did not know that. You can visit our website, or you can contact Lauren Rose. She helps coordinate that program. See her afterwards if you still want to volunteer. There's a lot of homes throughout the community and a lot of needs that get addressed on October the 13th. So if you just want to volunteer for one day out of the year, that's a great way to do it. We also have a Code Ambassador program. This is a fairly new program. It started in 2016. And we have more than 30 Code Ambassadors at this time. And in the last year, they've identified over 1,800 code violations in the city of Mesquite. And more than 51% of those have been cleared. Now, that's a lot of work. But even more importantly, that allows our code enforcement staff to spend more time focusing on high-profile properties that are much more cumbersome and involve a lot more time and effort and energy. So there's a lot of different ways that you can get involved in a city department or a city event or program to help out your community. And then, of course, we have our Citizen Police and Fire Academies. This is a picture of the Citizen Fire Academy. And yes, that is a real training exercise with Fire Academy participants. Those are not actual firefighters, although they look like it. The Fire Academy is a 10-week program. It's held once in the fall. And actually, we're taking applications right now. I don't know that they're quite full, but they're probably getting very close. So if you're interested, there is a form on our website you can fill out and apply for the Citizens Fire Academy. Here's just some more pictures from the Citizens Fire Academy. And then, of course, we have our Citizens Police Academy. And yes, here's a real picture of a participant in our Citizen Police Academy shooting a gun at a range, supervised, might I add. So our risk manager isn't in the room tonight. This picture always makes him a little queasy. The Citizens Police Academy, those are 3-hour classes each week for a total of 12 weeks. And our 2017 class is full. We just finished filling that class, and that class will start on September the 14th. And then, of course, once you get involved, let me scroll back here to this other picture. You can see on the left-hand side of the screen, that is the Mesquite Citizens Police Academy Alumni Association. So once you go through the academies, you have the opportunity to continue to stay involved and help out in a wide variety of community events that the city puts on through the alumni associations, the Police Alumni Association, or the Fire Corps. Here's some pictures of some of those alumni association members helping out with identifying some children, the little ID kits for kids at the beginning of the school year. On our left, you can see this is our Crime Watch Tower, which is mobile, is driven around town and staffed by some of our Academy alumni. So, again, another way to get involved in your community. And then, of course, last but not least, if you're not involved or haven't been before, Neighborhood Crime Watch is probably one of the best ways to get involved in your community. And we have our Crime Prevention Office phone number up on the screen for you. It's 972-216-6600. But I'll be more than happy to speak with you afterwards. If you're not involved, or maybe you don't have a Crime Watch group in your neighborhood and you're interested in starting one, we can certainly help you out with that. So feel free to come and visit with me afterwards. I know there's been a lot of information tonight, so I'm going to kind of wrap it up and ask our city manager, Cliff Kahili, to come on up and help me out. Are there any questions you have about citizen participation and those? Yes, sir, in the back.
I'm the crime watch coordinator for Samuel Farms neighborhood, and I noticed that a lot of large cities have city crime watch boards. So I went to the Mesquite website, and I was looking at all the different boards. I think there's like 27 of them. But I noticed we didn't have a crime watch board, which I thought was kind of unusual because a lot of people are afraid to live in Mesquite because of the high crime rate. So I'm wondering if you've ever discussed the possibility of starting up a crime watch board. And if so, I'd be happy to volunteer to do it off the ground.
I don't think that's anything that's ever been proposed or considered, but it is a good idea. One of the things that we are initiating this year is a neighborhood vitality division, and that will be a resource for neighborhoods to organize, provide tools, and provide information for people who are interested. So it'll serve in that capacity. And at the same time, we'll be developing a training program to better train the Crime Watch leaders and the neighborhood association leaders, so the better trained volunteers can be out there. And then through that, I anticipate bringing the Crime Watch captains and the neighborhood association leaders together for interaction. So I think that's having an advisory board is not a bad idea, and probably something that we can look into as we move forward with the neighborhood vitality. Thanks for bringing that to our attention. Oh.
We talked about that. Just so you do know, at the council level, we've talked about that the last couple of years. We've got 55-plus crime watch groups in the area, and we've had a number of discussions about exactly that. How do we get these people talking to one another? And next door and some other things are a start, but to say that we haven't even discussed it, we haven't talked about it, but well, I want to make sure that people know. It's a great idea, and we need to do something. I think our city manager, as he mentioned, is committed to help us do something in the next short time. So appreciate you bringing it up, and we know that there's a need there. Bruce?
Yeah, next door was really a good deal for us. I hit up on my neighborhood, and people are always asking what happened here, what happened over there. I think that the police and the city of Mesquite should get more involved in that to let people know what happened.
And that's one of the issues that we're having with social media. One of the it's a great tool to communicate. It's difficult to staff and make sure that we have somebody monitoring all of the different platforms all of the time. We have different staff members who do look at that, and when we do see something that's raising quite a concern, we do try to engage with an answer. But when it comes down to activity, crime reports, or police calls, we do have systems on our website that list the calls, and then there is a crime map that gives the actual reports. So those are the tools that we have to tell people what's going on. And with our new police CAD system that we've just implemented, probably by the beginning of the year, we'll have a new crime map system that's a little bit more robust and have a lot more information, a little bit easier to use. What we have now was a temporary measure that was available to us that we could get it into place. But that's where I would tell somebody who's on Nextdoor wanting to know what's going on. And then the other thing is we try to put our, if it's not a police activity, the council connection and the Mesquite Messenger are also good sources for those types of what's going on in our community or what's being built down the street. And then finally, if you don't know, you've got Lauren's number. She knows everything. So.
Jeff, I might have missed it. Did you mention the very brief process of what folks need to do if they want to serve on a board or commission? Might be worth mentioning.
You bet. There is an application form. There's a link on our website. Like all things, it really kind of starts at the city website. There is a form that you can click on the city website. I believe it's called the personal data form. And fill out those forms, and those get passed on to the mayor and council. And each year when there are vacancies that do become available, there aren't a lot, but there are vacancies that come available, and we have alternate positions. And as long as you have one of those personnel data forms on file, then the council will know you're interested in serving. So that's a good question. Thank you for pointing that out.
Excuse me. I'll just add, if you're not sure what board you want to serve on, one of the best pieces of advice that I've heard from council is to go attend a board meeting. It's not only educational about what building standards board does or board of adjustment. If that's something that interests you, then you can put that on the list, and the next time there's an opportunity, then you know what your interest is. We would hate for you to be on a board that you have no interest in or you don't feel is worth your time. But the boards are essential. They are truly the input that the city council needs on a variety of issues. So we need you. While there are low vacancies right now, just a few months ago, there were lots of vacancies. We've been very aggressive at trying to fill those. So there are always needs. So just because it's full doesn't mean that there won't be an opportunity. Just a second, I have one hand over here.
Are the board members open to the public or not?
Yes. All city meetings where we gather to discuss issues are open, and will be posted with an agenda. Oh.
They're on the website.
Yeah. And the different boards, yes.
I was just wondering, those were all open for public.
Yeah.
It may be listed on the website, but you said very few vacancies, and I didn't know if there's a certain term, or is it different for every board?
Most are usually a 2-year term. Some have a little bit longer. Some have limits on how many years you can serve. I know Parks and Recreation has a 6-year maximum, just to rotate people on there. So, but again, we'll take you for however long you can want to serve. So. We do have, I believe, one gentleman who's served on building standards boards 30-something years. So it's that one building standards board is one. I'm diving too deep, but that's one where we require an expertise. If we need plumbers, we need electricians on there to provide the guidance. So if you're not either one of those, we've got there's 26 others that we can put you on. Any other questions? Again, staff will be in the back and, I'm sorry. Yes, sir.
I have a question, one question about the recycle program.
Yes, sir.
Let me begin by saying that I am an enthusiastic participant in that program. I have been just about since its inception. and I put my recycled material out regularly. In fact, it has considerably cut down on my garbage. The problem I have is certain items that are not taken by the recycle pickup. Plastic grocery bags. In fact, I have a bag full of plastic grocery bags in my truck that I have to take to the grocery store and put in a can there. I was told that it jams the machine in whatever company we're dealing with. Pizza boxes. That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of. Now, I mean, I'm not an expert on recycling, but I do understand somewhat the process of recycling paper products. Now, if you can bleach or take out ink from a paper product, why can't you take out the grease from a pizza box? I've got to put my pizza box in my garbage can.
We do contract with the company, and they do put certain regulations on what we can bring them. And the plastic bags do. It's a big conveyor belt, and there are people grabbing the recycle items and sorting. It's almost hand sorted for a majority of the process. So, and those
the grocery stores, supermarkets that take those bags, they go somewhere. They get recycled somewhere. I know there are park benches made out of it.
Certainly, and that they do have a reuse. Unfortunately, the company that we contract has a certain system. We have to go with their rules. We will look as we.
Unfortunately, we probably should get another company to deal with.
Certainly.
Recycle. Let's recycle. Okay?
Certainly. And then on the cardboard boxes, I don't understand I'm not an expert in the exact process, but the food materials on the boxes do limit their ability to ship those to the companies that purchase those materials. The process where they sort them, set them in a bin, somebody purchases that, and they have certain requirements on what is in those bins. So,
I just think we need to get another company that has other less requirements and a more varied ability to recycle things that this company doesn't take.
We will make sure that's a consideration the next time that goes up to bid.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Is there sort of a list of things that you can put in the recycle bin?
It should be a line.
Yeah.
Because those items, there are others. I'm unsure as to, I'll look at the number on the bottom. Well, 7 to 7 going there or not?
Yeah. The guy that picks up my recycled stuff, one time I went out there and challenged him on something he was taking out of there, and he was ready. He had a card in his hand that he gave to me that had a list of things that I could put in.
Yeah, we have information on our website, but if you will give us your address before you leave, we'll make sure we'll mail you the information. Yes, ma'am.
I think recycling needs to be promoted more.
Amen.
In my neighborhood of about 2 streets, there's probably 4 of us that always recycle. I don't put mine out all the time because there's just me. I do it probably 2 weeks, but when I do, my bag's full or my bin. But I can look at a lot of my neighbors' trash and it's full of plastic bottles, newspaper, and that goes in the trash.
That is a very good suggestion, and the man who puts out all of our publications just made a note, and I bet you see that in an upcoming edition of the Mainstream or Mesquite Minute, which Wayne is the feature person of. So,
I remember when I very first started, there was a little, I don't know, well, about the size of this.
the door hanger, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's packed inside one of my cabin doors.
Well,
And I do have another question. How do you find out who the councilman is?
well, you can probably ask today, but and on the city's website, on the city council page, there's a district map, and you basically can enter in your address, and it'll show what district. But if you just for grins, let's test the council, see if they know their districts. What's your street? Club Crest. I believe that's Mr. Casper. You're up north of I-30. Yeah, you're Mr. Casper. So Jeff Casper is your council member. But I'll,
There's only like 6 houses long.
I guarantee you that all of these gentlemen will be happy to listen to your concerns at any time. So, Jeff Casper.
Or you can call one of your at-large.
All right. Any other questions? We're trying to make sure we don't hold you all too long tonight. I do want to thank you for being here. And just to close, a lot of what we talked about is engaging the citizens, and we need your feedback. And as the city manager, I strive each and every day to make sure that we provide good quality customer service. If we're not addressing a pothole that you've reported, or we're having an issue with recycling, those are the types of things we need your feedback on to make sure that there's not a breakdown in our system. We are human. We're not perfect. Things get missed. But at the very least, I do not want us ever to give the citizens the feeling that they're being ignored or that their problem is not worthy of our consideration. So any time that you have a problem, my email and my phone number is on the website as well, or just call up the city main number and ask for the city manager. I'm happy to listen to any of your concerns at any time. We want to provide the best customer service possible, and the only way we're going to know if we're missing is unless you tell us. So I'll stick around after the meeting if you have any other questions that you're afraid to ask in the public. Yes, sir.
Are these going to be mailed out anytime soon?
Those were mailed out this spring, May, to every single-family residence in Mesquite. You should have gotten one in the mail.
Mail them out to everyone.
We mailed that one.
I got one of those.
Okay. So, yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that would be the post office complaint. So, with that, Leah, I'll take the microphone and we'll introduce. Let the council come up and speak. We'll go. What order, Mr. Mayor? Deputy Mayor Pro Tem first. So, we'll use this microphone.
Thank you so much. Great crowd tonight. Glad you're here this evening. Real Texas service. I appreciate the comments of our city manager, and I just want to echo that. The city is here to serve, and you, the people, just like our assistant city manager said, y'all need to get involved with us as well. All of us can do this together. And I just wanted to commend the staff that we have because they're doing a great job. And Lauren Rose, where are you? Lauren, I've never, I've been on the city council now for about a year and 3 months. I haven't seen her had a bad day. I really haven't. She doesn't have a bad attitude. I never see that from her. She's always just very energetic, ready to serve, ready to help. And this is a reflection of what our city is doing in getting the right people here. Don't be afraid to bring up things. And you do have complaints. What I would just say, do it respectfully. Just do it respectfully. Anybody can have a bad day, but we're all here to help, just like our city manager did. And I can just go right down the line with the work that they do. But I just wanted to say that about Lauren Rose, how much I appreciate her work. Thank you for being here this evening.
Well, they say that knowledge is power. And the last few years, I have watched more and more residents get involved, whether it be serving on boards or commissions, just attending council meetings. Now that we have night council meetings where everyone can participate and be involved, town hall meetings like this, their crime watchers are growing monumentally. More people are taking ownership of their city, and that is so critical because I will tell you, I think we would all agree that the more folks have gotten involved the last few years, the more accountability you're providing to all of us, be it social media, these various mediums that was talked of earlier, or coming to council meetings, or calling each of us, getting to know each of us. Things just seem to be getting better. The more you are taking ownership and holding all of us accountable. So let's don't stop. I'm real proud of these efforts. Now, as I'm a politician, so I got to be real careful how I say this next thing here and choose my words carefully. While everybody in here, because this is a big deal for the future, while everybody in here is young, I am thrilled that there are also some even younger folks here tonight. In fact, a recent Mesquite High School graduate in the back there. Because our younger families are going to be leading this town at some point. And I'm thrilled with all the people who show up at every event, every meeting. But we've got to have younger families begin to also take hold and get involved and learn how things work, so the future we'll have good people leading this town. It goes from younger families all the way down to the kids at school. I'm so proud that my colleagues and I and our school board counterparts were at different schools yesterday morning shaking hands of parents and kids, because we want those young people to someday remember, wow, my city councilman or my mayor or my school trustee, they came to my school and they shook our hands. So I guess I need to do something someday and also give back to my community. So your participation is critical, whether it's, again, social media. But let me say that about something about social media. As wonderful as that is, and we need that participation, don't ever misunderstand the importance of you personally, physically coming and interacting with your elected officials. It's so important. Or going to a Crime Watch meeting, or making your voice heard in person, or involving yourself in your neighborhood. So thank you all. God bless you. We're doing great things in Mesquite. This is your town. I'm excited. Thank you.
I know if y'all watch the video, you'd probably doubt me when I'd say I don't have much to say right now, but we remember that we as a council, staff, we work for you. We don't work for ourselves. We don't work for somebody else. We work for y'all. Please don't ever apologize for bringing something to our attention, because it's our job to fix it if we can. And I know y'all are all reasonable folks. You know that some stuff takes some time. You can't, wave a magic wand and fix something overnight. But you want attention paid. You want your question answered. You want us to get to it as quickly as possible. That's what all this is about. I love the feeling in the room tonight. Know that you all are causing, and we all are responding to the need to remember that we work for you. Our job is to work for you and take care of the things that you ask for. And boy, I love this sort of stuff tonight. And this is a start, right? Not the finish. This is the start of it all, where we keep going and we keep doing this over and over. And see, I actually did talk more than I thought I would. So that's it. Thank y'all. Thank y'all.
Well, my other council members said everything I wanted to say. But I definitely want to thank all of the citizens that came out here to listen and voice your concerns, our staff, for the good work that they do. And I want to reiterate that, you can call any council member. We all work in every district. We're working for the whole city. Now, each council, there's 4 districts. There's 2 at large. But all the council work for the whole city of Mesquite, including the mayor. So you can call any of us with a problem. You don't have to call just your district. If you need a problem fixed, call whoever you need to try to get that fixed. I just want to thank y'all for all coming out. Thank you.
Don't forget to give your phone number.
It's on the website.
Oh, sorry. It's kind of hard to follow up all these other guys. We've been doing this, right at a year now, I believe, and a lot of you have come to several of these meetings, some of you here for the first time. But the opportunity for us to get together, not only just to share information, but to get information back from our citizens, from everybody, it shows us the concern that you have for our city. It shows us that you care about our city. And we're just really excited to continue to have people coming back over and over, especially that have been here at most of them. I mean, I thought by now we'd have run off some of it. And anyway, now I won't go there. But this council is very much concerned about what's going on in your neighborhoods, not just this. We look towards the future of the city, but we also realize we've got to know where we came from. We got to take care of what we got now, and we are trying desperately. I get phone calls every day. We kind of joke a little bit how, when are you going to fix our roads? When are you going to fix our streets? When are you going to fix our roads? When are you going to fix our streets? Well, finally, the last 2 years, we've got, 15, 20 miles of roads and streets, and now it's, when are you going to finish my street? When are you going to finish my road? I'm tired of this stuff. And I joke about that, but we are trying as fast as we can to take care of these issues. And I know Darius back here. Darius is that longtime church member and friend, and he's in a neighborhood where they're working on his stuff right now, right? Yes, sir.
Can I say something?
Please.
I have talked to most everybody on the city council, and I'm going to tell you, it is awesome to have y'all on the city
Thank you.
council.
Thank you. That's very good. Thank you.
But it's awesome to have everyone that's on the city council.
Well, I appreciate that, and I'll give you your 20 like we agreed on earlier. Just kidding. Just kidding. Yeah, free passes. You know, and I stand up here and I joke and I make light a little bit, but the reality is, and Mr. Burrows mentioned it, anybody on this council, if you know somebody, you have a friend that knows somebody, and you may live on the north side of town, but you know Dan Alleman who represents the south side of town, call him. You know, call Mr. Archer, call Tandy Burrows, call Mr. Miklos. We will help, and I think that's the important thing about tonight. We'll help. One of the things that they're trying to communicate with you, though, is you don't have to call us first if you want to, if you can. We've got a lot of information we've given you tonight. And I will tell you, probably the fastest way to get this stuff done is all the information they've given you tonight. If you'll pick up the phone and call the city, if you will put it online, one of the things I was going to share with you is it'd be real easy for me to call the city manager or somebody and say, hey, I got something I need you to come to my house and do, pick up my trash or do whatever. I put every need that I have personally on the city's website, and I do it to see what the response is. I get the little confirmation code and I follow up because I want to see how the city responds. And you know, most of the time they respond very positively. So, sorry I talked so long. I do always do this. Anybody, any questions that you wanted to ask of myself or one of us? Always when there's a group, if you're more than welcome to. Y'all ready to go home, aren't you? Yeah, a lot of shaking heads. Yeah, that's right. Check Facebook. Thank you all for being here tonight. If you have, we'll hang around and talk with you. Y'all have a good evening. Thank you.